Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program with me, Nihai Hobo, and this is going to be the landing, in fact let's just do a quick save, on Jool. Now I'm not saying that it's going to be a successful landing because the rules are going to change and it is going to be an episode in and on itself. First things first, the reason it's going to be an episode to itself is it's going to take about half an hour to get from where we are now to the surface of the planet, because your descent speed is sorry, I was just thinking about what the hell was going on there. Because your descent speed is so slow. It's not even funny. It's about 24 meters per second if we don't touch anything. So that's... Ooh, come on, slow down a little bit. Come back. So that's kind of the first problem, is going to be the amount of time. Number two, the actual height of... And again, I'm going to use air quotes because don't forget, we are landing on a gas giant. The land is 100 meters below where it says it is, and we find that out at our own peril. Now, as I said a few episodes ago, I have done this. I've actually done this twice. And both times were unsuccessful landings, even with modded parts. No, I hadn't modded them particularly well. I'd modded them perfectly well. I just hadn't made a very good ship. Was the problem with that? And as a result, you basically, when you touch the ground, you need to be travelling around about 3 meters per second. So I'm just trying to bend this periapsis, I'm trying to lower this down by bleeding off as much speed as we can. We need to have nearly stopped in order to get all the way up there. Because you see the amount of influence it has because of its size, and that's kind of going to be our get out of jail free card. If we hit the ground at a reasonable speed and explode, we're going to call that a successful landing because of the wonderful things it does, and also in fact, actually I just wonder if it's worth just moving along a little bit further here. Well, we're not, we're moving away, aren't we? Where are we? No, we are moving closer to it. Sorry, that was quite disorientating. We're going to call that a successful landing because in real life, if you try to land on a gas giant, because of its gravity, it would crush you there and then. So we're going to call it not an explosion through a landing, but we are going to call it a decompression problem, and that this was actually all along an unmanned capsule. But that's a problem that I want to get to a bit later on. First of all, this is our biggest worry right now, is the amount of fuel we have. Because we are a very, very long way out. We're going through fuel a lot quicker than we really need to be. And we're not having a huge amount of influence. But when we know from past experience, we need to have near enough stopped in order for this to become any sort of sensible orbit. And there we go. So we're going to drag this down. I'm not sure exactly how high up you need to be before the quote-unquote atmosphere, if that's really what you want to call it, before the dust starts hitting your ship and slowing it down. So we'll just go with as close as we can to 0, whilst being able to see the numbers would be helpful. We're now at 58 million. Oh, what's that? Oh, I missed it. I wanted to see what that was a rendezvous with. Oh, hold on. I hadn't turned the SAS on. Down to the last 9 million meters. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can't throttle any lower than that. I guess that's it then. I think that's where we're going to thump into this. So, how are we doing for fuel? No, that's not too bad. So we're on the last tanks, but we're pretty well up on them. So that's good. So let's speed things up a little bit. And start dropping into the atmosphere. So whilst we're doing that, we've got the 4 moons here. We've got Talo, Lathe, Val, and Bop. What I might do one day is modify some parts, and we might just go planet hopping. Might be or moon hopping, moon and planet hopping. That'd be a fun afternoon. So anyway, yeah, Movember. Here is a picture of my moustache. Going to be in the final throes of it by now. In fact, it may even have finished. But you can still get involved next year if you want to. So because I'm recording this whole mission in one sitting, I'm trying to think where we're going to lead up to. Because at this point there's not a huge amount of time left. But if there is time left, then you can contribute at the chipping widget at the bottom of the link. If not, then you can hold onto your cash until next year and either get involved or contribute to somebody else who you might know who's doing it, or if I decide that I'm going to do it again, then to me. If you have already contributed, then thank you very much. Well done. Your astronauts or Kerbal nauts will be coming shortly. All right, I'm going to do a risky thing. I'm going to speed up one more. But you see how much of a sphere of influence this has. In fact, I wonder if we can see the planet yet. I think that's part of the sandbox. We must go to it. Somebody will be annoyed at me for saying that. I don't know. I mean, that looks like it could be one of the moons, but it possibly is the sandbox again. Let's just get an orientation of it. Where is it in relation to the sun? Sun's over there. So if we point our nose at the sun, or we could just point it, so it should be here, and no, it looks like we're too far away to see anything yet. And still falling, but I mean we're falling at such a slow rate. it's such it's in such a way that I can't actually catch hold of the planet to know how high we are. But yeah, we've got almost an escape speed now. And there it is. The grape with the ring. Grape, oh ring. Now, we've actually automatically already gone... Oh, hello! There you are. We've already gone through the parachutes phase, so that's automatically going to deploy for us. The speed I'm honestly not worried about, because, as I said before, the atmosphere is so thick, it will bleed off most of that for us. But then to back it up, we also then have five parachutes. And we'll just go with a quick save there. We also have 5 parachutes and also some rocket fuel left as well. So, yeah, and these are the sorts of... Oh, there we go. Look, there's a moon shooting past. It might even be another one. The fact that it's almost sort of geocentric to what we're doing. There's another one there. So, well, you get quite the view on the way in, if nothing else. Yeah, we're almost... This is almost the fastest that we've travelled through this entire journey. It's something else. Again, I just want to straighten up. But let's do a little IVA, shall we? And see if... I'm not sure which way it is that I'd need to be looking. Well, there is the sun. So effectively, we want to be looking into our descent, I would imagine. There we are. There she is. Screenshot. And yeah, we're absolutely plummeting. Okay, so let's get out of this view. Whoops. How do we get out? V. Yeah, there we go. Is it V to get... Oh no, V's to do the cameras. And C is to get in and out of the capsule. Or to get in and out of the capsule view, to be mostly specific. So, a little over 5 kilometers an hour. 5 kilometers a second, rather. The other thing the parachutes will be good for as well is keeping us vertical. The other thing that we don't need to worry about on this planet is finding smooth ground, because it's not technically textured. There isn't any bumps and trickles and trails through it. The last thing to tell you about this is if we are successful and we get Judson down onto the face of this planet successfully, then he will not be getting out and he will not be walking around, because he will glitch out because there is no surface, and he will never get back in again. And my OCD just will not allow that. Will not let that happen. Okay. So here we go. We're coming into the last 400 kilometers, 4,000 kilometers, even 3. So we're now descending. We are definitely now going faster than we ever have before. And the atmosphere, unfortunately, we're coming in on the dark side of this. So say goodbye to the sun. And we're going to need to start looking at straightening up again. I don't think... Oh, yeah, you can quick save. Can straighten back up again. We're still gaining speed and going way too fast. But that's why I've chosen to save now, so that the atmosphere can start work on us. Because the other thing we don't want to do, obviously, is rip off the parachutes. I don't know what this last stage is, in fact. Looks like we're pretty much down to everything. So yeah, what it'll be a case of is that if the chutes do deploy and the atmosphere hasn't slowed us down enough, that we'll have to have another crack at it. Now, I know that I said that save scumming was a bit cheap in this game, and there we go, that's Jedson gone green. But this takes so much effort and so long to get to. Oh, that might have been a bad move, because now we are out of control. And look at that G-force just slamming straight up. Speed bleeding off at an immense pace. And it's all we can do. There's the drag chutes out. 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. Well, top of 2,000. And the rate of acceleration is slowing a bit. But I mean, look how high up we are, and the atmosphere has just thumped its way through. We'll pop the gear down, though technically that would have ripped off had we had this been a real life situation. We could aid it a little bit by just giving it a little bit of a burn, just to try and help save the chutes. Because we are still supersonic. Oh, we've just gone subsonic now. Probably down to 100 meters a second. I think the chute should be able to tolerate it at that. Okay, so we can turn the SAS off, because the chutes should now take care of everything, but this part of the descent is going to take an immensely long time. When those chutes deploy, it's just going to slow us down to nothing. Okay, so I'm hoping that it's going to be enough. I don't want to spend too much fuel doing this. I don't want to mistime it either. It's 45,000 meters. What do these normally don't open until about 3,000, do they? But I'm not sure what sort of speeds they'll tear off at. But we have 4 of the big ones and one of the little ones. Didn't mean to do that. We're slowly gaining speed. And here we go. This is this is it now. It's starting to bleed off a bit more quickly. Atmosphere's going to start getting denser. Parachutes will start becoming more efficient, or more effective rather, sorry. And you can hear, just very quietly in the background there, the wind speed starting to whistle down if I shut up for a sec. Judson seems to be quite happy about what's going on here. We've got a nice view of one of the moons there. I guess that would be Lathe. I don't know if there's any closer ones, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they'd even be this side of the planet right now. I don't know if you can... Again, this is probably Sandbox. Yeah, that seems to be maybe the only one that you could see. What we've got these burn at about 15 litres a second, so we've got about 15 seconds at full throttle. We need to open the chutes first and see, number one, how many of them survive, and number two, what sort of effect they have on the descent. But remember, we need to touch the ground. We need to be doing about 3 meters a second. And like I say, this is very, very shortly. You're going to see why. It's going to be an episode by itself. I will try and do as much fast forwarding as I can, but of course we have the problem that if I fast forward now and the chutes deploy, if we're travelling at 85 meters per second, it will think it's dropping at 90 and rip the chutes 190 and rip the chutes off, so 160 even, and 170 and rip the chutes off. No, I was right. 180, 90, 60, yeah, 170. 85 and 85 is 170. And tear the chutes off it. That's how I crashed the first time. You're talking to somebody who's in charge of a flight, whether it be fictional or nay, fictional or real. They shouldn't be using the term next time when you're quizzing them about any sort of crashes or unsuccessful flights they've had. Where's the front of this? We didn't bother putting ladders on it because of course we're not getting out, but that's would be forwards. Okay, so every time I look at this it looks like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Dun, Ninja Moon. Dun. Dun, 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 dun. Pay attention. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're coming into the... Well, we had plenty of time. Didn't need to use any of that rocket fuel to slow it down. Could have saved it. It's me getting a little bit antsy. In fact, actually, we'll just quickly review as well. If you want to get to Jool and you want to do it in one take, you don't want to have to get up there and then adjust your orbits and spend a huge amount of time, because I think this is pretty much as fast as we could have got up here, is 415 days, just a little over, assuming that a Kerbal year is the same as an Earth year in 365 days. There isn't any seasons to tell, nor is there a calendar as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong on that, but you want to leave when Jool is at 98 degrees. That is let's just spin this round a bit. So if this here, if directly north is where Jool is, you want to be here where this 180 is. That's the time that you want to start your launch. So you need to look at that on the big map, on the whole solar system map. When you get to the point where you're and then you need to go and get yourself into a 100 kilometer parking orbit around Kerbal. That is that your periapsis and your apoapsis are 100 kilometers. There and abouts. If you review episode 1 of this take, which would be episode 21, in fact. It's 20 or 21, I forget. I show you where they need to be for that one. Anyway. Oh yeah, so no, we parked at 100 kilometers and 150 kilometers. It doesn't make much in the way of difference. So provided that you're roughly around about the 100 kilometer mark. The next thing you need to know then is when to start your interplanetary burn. And that is when you're leaving Kerbal and attempting to get to Jool. So that's going to be leaving the sphere of influence of any sort of gravitational field in the immediate Kerbal system, and getting under the influence of the sun, and then having the sun bend you around the universe, fuck you, and throw you into an interception path with Jool. You need to do that at 114 degrees. That is, again, let's just spin this round. Let's go the right way. Okay, again, with the 180 degree mark here, if you're travelling in this direction, you need to burn, and you're going prograde as well, that's important. You need to be here on the 180 degree mark when you start your transfer burn, and stay on the 90 degree horizon mark, and just keep burning as hard and as fast as you can. It took quite a lot of fuel to get here. Again, if you go back and review that episode, there was quite a lot of fuel used up, and we were using the 3 atomic engines at the time, and we even then had to step into this. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks of atomic, 7 tanks of fuel for the atomic engines, and that wasn't enough to get us away from Kerbal. In fact, actually, we even had some on the huge Rockomax engines. We didn't have enough fuel to get us from Kerbal even to... We only just got past Duna with that much fuel. And then it took these 2 centre tanks and a good quantity of... well, it took all of these 2. So we've got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 17, 18... and then these ones as well, which we just started cutting into the top of these tanks as well. So it's a lot of fuel that it needs to get there, but you need to be constantly shedding weight as well. So I mean, the asparagus is pretty much the only way that you're going to get this done. This is vanilla as well, I'll say that as well. There are no modded parts on this whatsoever. All these are exactly the same as they were. I mean, obviously it's a bit difficult to tell now, but I'm pretty sure I clicked these full at some point anyway. So you know that all my parts are standard. Can't click on them or them or them. There isn't a centre engine there, there never has been. I don't know what else I could really prove to you. So, 28 minutes. 28 minutes on a goddamn landing. So it's the furthest planet to get to. I mean, from what people say, if under the rules that I've given, there is no good reason that you need any retro thrusters or parachutes to touch down on the face of this. You can just fall out of the sky. Well, we're down to the last 6 kilometers now. The moon's getting higher as we're getting lower. Again, you'll see that there isn't much in the way of textures or terrains on here. Very soon you'll notice that it'll actually start glitching out. As I say, I don't think they expected too many people to get here, but they didn't. They obviously underestimated how cruel you bastards are on making me go here. Certainly the next mission after this one then has to be Moho. I'm really not looking forward to that one. That's going to be an insufferable task, I think, because of course that's the red hot molten planet. Though I've been looking into it and researching some techniques and methods on how to do it. I have some ideas, but that doesn't mean shit. I've also got ideas that I'm going to become a rock star and earn $1 million, and that's not paying off. I don't know, I'm sort of running out of things to talk about here. I'm drinking Sprite today. I've been taken off the Dr. Pepper. I'm not allowed to drink that anymore. Now, this could be construed as interesting, but if you are back on Kerbal and you have a cockpit and a parachute and you're just freely descending, you will descend at the same speed that we are travelling now with the drag chutes. And of course, the other thing as well is the drag chutes will not come out that early. That's all. The drag chutes release related to pressure, and they obviously the pressure comes in a lot quicker here. But this is how fast you'd be going. Here we go. Here's some of the graphical glitches coming in. This line drawn across the bottom here. So on the texturing errors, doesn't matter which way you have your ship, always runs in the same direction apparently. One last thing as well, I was whilst I was trying to modify the files and find out how I was going to put people's names into Kerbal, I did come across a file in the data section which is level 6, and if you scroll down there I found the name of one Mr. Kurt J. Mack. So I assume that's actually the welcome, the thank you. The thank you screen, which I've not looked at yet, but yeah, there's theoretically you could edit that and put your own name in there, but that's make a copy of it before you do, because if you ruin it, I don't want to be held responsible for you not backing anything up. So if you're gonna tinker with them, then do so at your own risk. Do a backup. Be safe, kids. Don't do drugs. Well, at the moment, it's taking me about 1,000 meters per subject, so I need 2 more subjects to talk on, and I just haven't got it. In fact, actually, it's going to get worse because, of course, we've got the chutes to open, and then we're going to drop to about 3 meters per second. But that said, actually, once the chutes open, I could start doing time compression expansion things. I would go to an IVA, but I don't want to miss the chutes opening to find out what happens next. But yeah, no, we'd be able to do the time warp once the chutes open, because of course the atmospherics won't add to it as much. It shouldn't do, certainly. I don't think it does. We'll do it gently. We'll go bit by bit, and we'll also have to see what sort of speed we're coming down at. I'm estimating we'll probably drop to about 7 meters a second with the chutes open, maybe a touch less. If it's 3, then we're on. There's no point using any more fuel. The atmosphere here as well, so thick. If you have wings, there we go. Wow, 1.7. Incredible. For 200 seconds. Yeah, about 200 seconds to talk. So let's do with some IVA then, whilst we're at it. So there we go, there's some green strings and some boob bottles of water. Yeah, I don't see why we can't fast forward this now. Oh, okay. Do we dare step to the 3? So I want to come down to, I'll come in about the last 50 meters, because actually what we've got is, it's not 300 meters and not 360 meters at all, it's 460 meters. Do I dare go one more? The shock and the horror of accelerating time 4 times its natural speed. So yeah, we're going to come in about 50 meters again, and I don't think we need to use the rockets. I shouldn't see a reason that 1.7 meters per second. I think that's an acceptable speed. I think we could call that a win when we touch down. So really, this is now just all frivolities and technicalities. So we will start slowing down a bit now. And the other thing as well, because there's no textures, there is of course no shadow. So you have no way of knowing. What will happen is all of a sudden you'll just explode. And that's the end of that journey. So there we go. We're going to come back down to 1 time acceleration now, and here we go. So this will go to 0, and that'll start going up again. Somewhere it's about 100, between 90 and 100 meters, depending on the size of your vessel, of course, because this refers not only to sea level. And there we go. I can't look up any further now. That's the the amount that I can. I wonder if I IVA. Yeah, you can still see the sky. Yeah, because that of course refers to the sea level. This is taken into account as well. That's why you can be anything from 1 meter to 99 meters on the launch pad. So we can spin around, but as I say, we are well and truly stuck. So here we go. We should be touching down any second now. Get ready for explosions. Oh! Haha! Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle, boys and girls. There we go. We have touched down on the face of Jool. It has been grueling getting here, and there's not a huge amount to see. It's it's a bit like landing on an ant landing on a tennis court. It's about the best metaphor I can put together for that. But it's been done. We can put it to bed. Next time we can start heading over to Moho and setting our asses on fire. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. If it isn't December the 1st 2012 yet, there is still chance to contribute to the Movember Fund, and also possibly get your name down as one of the astronauts in the next series 4 of Kerbal Space Program, which should be coming very, very shortly. So again, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me. My name is Knee High Hobo, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.